All right, so we wanted to take a deep dive into this Google data leak from June 2024. A lot of you have reached out asking us to unpack this whole thing, and
Yeah.
it's not just about resetting passwords or anything like that. This is something that's really kind of thrown a wrench into the whole AI landscape, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. And I think what's really striking about this is not just the type of data that was leaked. We're talking about voice recordings, we're talking about home addresses, like all kinds of stuff, but it's also the volume.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
this wasn't just a leak, this was a complete dump.
Yeah, and finance magnates put it, I thought kind of a funny way. They said it was Google tearing the lid off, slathering themselves in sugary tomato sauce, and running naked down the road.
Okay.
So, I mean, maybe a little out there, but
Sorry.
I think you get the picture.
It paints a picture. It definitely
Oh.
paints a picture. But I think beyond that colorful language, it gives us this look into how much data these AI systems like Google's Gemini, how much they need.
Yeah.
They're just devouring our lives to function.
Like, we knew AI needed data, but this is like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's not just fueling like Siri or, our
Mm-mm.
voice assistants or whatever. This is like algorithms that are going to start predicting our behavior based on our child's voice recordings. Yeah.
Well, that's right. And it brings up, the article mentioned an open letter from some pretty big AI experts, Yoshua Bengio, Jeffrey Hinton,
Yeah.
and they're warning about the consequences of just letting AI developing without any kind of guardrails. And these aren't alarmists, these are people that are at the forefront, but they're talking about some serious risks, even hinting at the possibility of, human extinction.
It's giving like that Skynet scenario, terrible.
Terminator.
Straight out of Terminator.
Right. And while that might seem, a little Hollywood, I think it highlights a very real fear that a lot of people have, and that is that AI could become too powerful.
Yeah.
And this leak just, it's gasoline on the fire.
Yeah. So we've got AI with a massive appetite for data, and now it's basically been given this all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah.
Where does that leave us, us the everyday users just trying to like live our lives online?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And
Yeah.
the article really highlighted some unsettling scenarios, like imagine an AI assistant that doesn't just schedule your meetings, but it knows your deepest fears, your guilty pleasures, those 3 a.m. searches that you hoped nobody would ever find out about.
It's like this shadow
Yeah,
that can analyze every detail and then use it against us.
exactly. And this isn't about, annoying ads anymore. This is about, the potential for eroding free will and autonomy.
Yeah.
It's a deeply concerning thought
Yeah.
that this leak has really brought to the forefront.
And it's not just, way off in the future. This could happen like
What-
tomorrow.
Yeah, the article talked about how AI could actually use this data to judge us,
Yeah.
even punish us for stuff we did years ago.
Like, they painted a pretty bleak picture of what that could look like.
Yeah.
Denying jobs based on something stupid you said on social media 10 years ago,
Yeah.
or even like messing with your health care.
Right.
It's like something out of a dystopian sci-fi movie.
Yeah. It's like Black Mirror, coming to life.
Totally. And
Like-
we're all just like extras on the set.
Yeah. And it's easy to feel overwhelmed by all this, but the article does say, hey, let's not forget about humor.
Right. Because if we don't laugh, we're going to cry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Find a little light in the absurdity of it all. Because, I mean, really, we're talking about our own creations turning on us.
It's true. It is kind of a wild thought when you put it like that. Okay, but humor aside, this leak feels like a serious wake-up call.
Mm.
So what can we actually do about it? The article mentioned that database that Glenn Gabe put together. Is that a good place to start, like to even wrap our heads around how much is out there?
Oh, absolutely. I think Glenn Gabe's database is a really tangible way to see just how much information is out there. But I think even more importantly, this situation just screams for more transparency from these tech companies.
Mhm.
We need to know what they're collecting, how they're using it, and what they're doing to protect it.
So it's not just enough to understand the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We have to start demanding better from these companies who are building these crazy, powerful AI systems.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's them. What about us? What can we do, like on a personal level, to protect ourselves?
Well, I think the article made a really good point about being aware of our digital footprint.
Yeah.
Every Google search, every tweet, leaves a trace. So we need to be mindful of what we're sharing and how that could be twisted or even weaponized by AI, down the road.
It's like being aware of your surroundings in a sketchy part of town.
Yeah.
You might not be able to control everything, but at least you're more aware of the risks.
Exactly. And it's about being proactive instead of reactive.
Right.
We can take steps to protect our privacy, like using privacy-focused browsers, being more careful about what we share on social media.
So it's not about like going off the grid completely. It's more about just being more intentional about what we do online.
Right, and it's about holding these companies accountable. We
Mhm.
need stronger regulations, ethical guidelines for how AI is developed, and a commitment to transparency from these tech giants.
So it's like a two-pronged approach,
Yeah,
individual awareness and then also systemic change.
absolutely. A collective effort.
I don't know. It feels like we're being asked to do a lot,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Like, can we really stay ahead of these massive companies and whatever their AI is doing next?
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid concern, but I think it's important to remember that AI isn't just developing like in a vacuum.
Right.
These systems are built by people trained on the data that we provide.
Okay.
So really, the users, we have more power than we think.
So it's not about feeling powerless against some all-seeing AI. It's more about realizing that we actually have some control.
Yeah, we have a say in this. We can demand more transparency from these companies. We can support ethical AI initiatives. We can advocate for stronger data privacy regulations.
It's about steering things in the right direction,
Exactly.
not trying to, like, stop progress altogether.
Right.
The article ended with that line about, they're always watching.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think, like, maybe instead of freaking out about that,
Yeah.
maybe we can use it to our advantage.
Absolutely. When you know you're being watched, you behave a little differently,
Yeah.
right? So we can start to be more careful about what we share online, more aware of the digital trails that we're leaving behind.
So it's about taking ownership of
Yeah,
our digital lives.
exactly.
Not like retreating from the digital world entirely,
Right.
but being more intentional about it.
And I think this Google leak, as unsettling as it is, it's a real opportunity for us.
Yeah.
It's a wake-up call to rethink how we view our data, how we interact with these tech giants, and ultimately how we want to shape the future of AI.
Well said.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up for our listeners today, our deep dive into this Google data leak. I mean, it's been kind of a wild ride.
It has.
We talked about some pretty unsettling stuff, but we also talked about what we can do about it.
And I think the biggest takeaway here is that we're not just passive bystanders.
Yeah.
We have a role to play in making sure that AI is a force for good.
We can't just sit back and hope for the best.
Exactly.
We have to be informed, we have to be engaged, and, maybe even find a little humor in all of this because it can get
Oh, yeah,
pretty heavy.
it can.
So until next time, keep those critical thinking caps on and keep asking those tough questions.